Hey everybody, welcome back to Simply You. Be here, be real, be you with Carly Basham. Thank you all so much again for tuning in this week. I hope you all are having a phenomenal Sunday and had a kick-ass week. And I'm so excited to get into it today. I have an exciting topic for us. So without further ado, let's get started and welcome back to Simply You. So guys, today I wanted us to talk about just how relationships evolve from high school to adulthood. I think that there's so much change that is happening throughout that time, especially for yourself. Like that is one of our most prime times that we are learning who we are and who we want to become and what we truly like and what we truly dislike and our interests and our passions and our purpose. There are so many big and heavy things that we are gaining clarity and gaining exposure to and just really trying to figure out so much throughout your personal life that it's normal and you are bound to lose friendships, have relationships change, and lose people, right? That is the reality of change and evolution, right? Is people are going to drop. You are not going to have the same group of people from the time that you start, from the time that you end, right? But with that, there's so much to it. It's so complex and it's not, I don't think it's just black and white. I think that there is a lot of gray area to it. I don't think that just because as we get older, maybe we lose friendships, maybe we lose relationships or whatever it may look like and be, there's change that is happening, right? And I think especially in just today's age, it's so easy to point fingers and try to make it the most like dramatic thing ever when in reality sometimes it's just you all just don't align anymore, right? Like your all's paths are not going in the same direction. Your frequency, your purpose, your passions are not aligning to where you all really need each other anymore. And it's not even like something happened where there's this huge dramatic cutoff where something did something horribly wrong, right? It's just more so life happened and you all both grew up and grew apart, and that happened. So I really just wanted us to talk about as we get older, how these relationships evolve, what happens during that time, and what we're going to see after that. Because it really is heavy and it's hard. Losing people is never easy, it's never fun. Or even seeing your friendships and your relationships change, it's not easy to accept. So that's just where I wanted us to get into today with myself, even. At this point of life right now, it's certainly not easy, and there have been relationships that have came and gone, and I think it's worth talking about. So let's get into it. I do think it is so important for us to talk about how some friendships just run their course, how you all start to grow apart, and it is so necessary for you all to grow apart, for you all to each grow personally. And whenever you all do start to slowly grow apart, you're gonna see new friendships, you're gonna meet new people. And as you do, that's whenever I truly think that you're gonna realize separating and growing apart was the best thing for you, because you're going to see and realize some things that just weren't for you, and you're going to realize why that person, why that friendship, why that relationship was no longer for you. Because I really think that sometimes in the moment it is so hard to truly understand and see the reason why someone is not meant to be in your life anymore. I think that we can try so hard and do everything that we possibly can to keep someone in your life, but sometimes it is inevitable. Sometimes it is going to happen no matter what. No matter how hard you try, no matter what you do, your all's lives are no longer going to align anymore. And it's hard to accept, but I think that whenever you finally are out of it and you start to create these new relationships and friendships, you can then slowly reflect and look back and see why that relationship was not working out for you. But again, it's so hard to see while you're in the midst of it, because all you see is the great things and the potential and the things about that person or about that relationship that you were holding on to, whenever those things are no longer there or they no longer serve you. We also have to realize that the older we get, the more responsibilities that we are going to have to take on, right? So if your friends, if your relationships are not aligning with the responsibilities that you have on your plate in order for you to handle your business and handle your responsibilities and get your priorities straight, that should tell you that those people are no longer for you. Because again, as we grow up, the responsibilities, we can't avoid them, right? We cannot avoid what we are responsible for. If we do, that is how your own personal life is going to fall apart. So that is where, as hard as it is, you have to be able to put your personal growth, your personal responsibilities and priorities above all. And some people will look at that as you're being so selfish and you're just being mean and this and that. But in reality, what's meant for you guys will always find you. So if there are people who are meant for you and are aligning well with your future self and where you want to be, you're going to be able to fit them in, right? They are going to be able to fit into your life without having to force it. It's just going to mesh together. Sometimes it's kind of like a puzzle piece, right? Sometimes you're trying to take the edge piece and you're trying to put it in the middle. Whenever that just no longer fits, it does not mean that they are not part of the puzzle, that they are not part of your story of your life, but it just means that they aren't fitting where you're at right now. They aren't fitting with what you're looking for right now. Right now, you're looking for the middle piece, and right now, they're giving you the edge. So I just think, as hard as it is, we just have to know, we have to trust that the people who come and go into our lives are for a reason. They are here to teach us something. So let's just go into it open. Let's learn to accept. Let's learn to give ourselves grace. It shouldn't feel like a burden to you, right? I think it's also really easy to look at friendships ending, especially in today's age, with a lot of resentment and hate behind it, right? Whenever sometimes it's just the reality of life that friendships are going to end. And it doesn't mean that there was some nasty thing that happened. It's just you went one way, she went the other. And just because you all aren't going the same way doesn't mean that you all have to stop supporting each other and loving each other. But it just means that you all aren't going to be by each other's side how you guys were. And if there is anything that I have been learning recently, it is that people are in your life for seasons and reasons. Some people are not going to be permanent. Some people are not going to be around as long as you wish that they would be for whatever reason that may look like. And that is so hard to accept, you guys, especially whenever you are a person who loves your people down to your core, whenever your people are a part of you, are a part of your being, right? It is so hard to let that go because you have to let a piece of yourself go, right? You have to let the version of who you were with that person go. And it can feel impossible and it can feel so heavy and so hard and it hits so deep. But that's where we have to trust the bigger picture. We have to trust that rejection is redirection, right? If someone is not aligning with your life anymore, if someone is leaving your life for whatever reason, it's hard to accept because especially if you're a person like me, like I am like the most outgoing, bubbly person ever. Like if you've seen me out or if you're like one of my friends, you see where whenever we go out, I will talk to strangers. Like I want to talk to everybody, right? And not even on like anything like that. I just want to yap. Like I just want to talk to people. And with that though, it can be so hard because you can talk and meet some of the best people where you just click instantly, right? But then you leave and you all know that you're never going to see each other ever again. And that feeling is so sad and is so hard because it's like you can just feel it during the conversation, right? That you two would get along so well, but it's just your all's lives where you all are at right now is just different. Vice versa too. You can have somebody around you constantly and still get the feeling that they are not meant for you and still get that feeling that this person that it's not clicking, right? Because you can feel that too. And again, I think it's so hard whichever stage that you're in, whether you're clicking with somebody, but you know that it's just you both aren't in a position to be able to capitalize on it, or you are around somebody where you can just feel it's not clicking and you don't know how to get out of it, right? Whichever stage and season that you may be in, whichever feeling that you do have, just know one, that you're going to get out of it. And two, the most important thing that you can do right now is just listen to yourself, right? If you are having a feeling that something or someone is not for you anymore, do not second guess that, right? That is yourself. That is your body. That is your soul. That is your future self. That is yourself telling you and trying to warn you of what is to come, right? Same thing. If you genuinely feel deep in your core that someone is meant for you, that you're just clicking with somebody, that you just feel seen and heard, do not let that person go, right? That is whenever your fight for that person has to come in, right? And that's where it doesn't always have to be this resentful, selfish act of losing friends or gaining friends, right? It's just the circle of life. It's just how life goes. It's just the reality of it and how things work. And I think that there can be so much beauty behind that too. Really, whenever we look at relationships and friendships being more seasonal, looking at your relationships that you're creating and building as seasons of your life, as reasons, I think that it can place so much value on the people that you do have in your life as well. Because deep down, you are going to know that the people that you have in your life, the people that stick with you through the end, through every single season, they don't always have to be right by your side throughout every single season, but their presence is there, right? Their physical body doesn't have to be with you, but their presence is still there with you throughout every single season of your life. That is where I feel like you can really place value and know that your people are in your life for a reason. It gives your relationships, it gives those people so much purpose and so much value to yourself that you can just hold and place them at such high value. And that's whenever I feel like they really become a part of your core being, because they're not just people, they're not just friends, they are a part of you, they are a part of what makes you you, they are a part of the creation of who you are. And that is so freaking beautiful. But to get to that point, again, the journey is hard. And friendship breakups, and I think losing friends in general, is so hard because you not only are losing that friend, you are also losing that version of yourself too. As we get older, we grow. We grow into our bodies, we grow into our identity, we grow into ourselves and who we want to be. But what we sometimes, I think, can forget is with growth comes loss. We cannot reach where we want to be without losing things, right? We cannot gain and receive all that we want to without letting go of things, right? Because we don't have room for everything in this life, right? We can't be greedy. We can't think that we will have everything in this life, right? That's where it's not always going to look exactly how we want it, but that doesn't mean that we are not going to get what we need and what we deserve. So I do think that in order to evolve and change, we have to be able to let go of people and ourselves and the version of what our life would look like. We have to let all of that go and let the fluidity of life happen. Because I'm telling you guys, sometimes to get where you want to go, you are going to have to lose friendships. You're going to have to lose relationships. And that can feel so hard and so heavy and hit so deep. And it can damn near feel impossible. But you have to be able to prioritize your personal growth more than anything else. And again, that's not selfish. That is just placing the value of your life and where you want to be above all else. But with that, though, it doesn't have to be a selfish thing. It doesn't have to be oh, well, my life is more important than all of your guys. That's not what I'm saying at all. That's, in fact, the opposite. I just think that whenever you do get to a point where you have to make those hard decisions and you have to choose what you are going to take with you and what you are going to let go and leave behind, you have to reflect. You have to be able to have pure reasonings for what that person or what that thing is truly giving you in your life. If you are someone who knows that you give your relationships, that you give everything that you have into this life, you have to be selective of who you choose to carry through the rest of your life with. because if you don't, it's going to become so draining and you are going to miss out on so much. I was actually talking to one of my friends about this the other day because she had reached out to me just saying how she had realized that some friends, she would tell them like her small successes, her small wins. And whenever she would tell them that, she didn't feel as excited afterwards as she was whenever she first told them. And she was like, it's really been hard because whenever she's going into the conversation, she knows that she's giving it her all, right? Like she's so excited, she's eager, she is so excited to share that success, that win, that excitement with her people. And instead of her people receiving it and being so happy for her and damn near just as excited, they fell off, right? They didn't match it. They made her feel like it wasn't that important, that it wasn't that big. They really minimized the success and the small wins that she had. So we were talking about that, and it made me realize how important selecting your friends are, especially at this age, whenever you start to find your purpose, whenever you start to figure out what you want to go after and go for. Guys, be cautious and be aware of who you are celebrating and who you are sharing these small wins with, because that is going to dictate how you see and feel about what you're doing. You can be doing the most amazing thing ever. And if you aren't sharing it with people who realize the value of what you're doing at whatever stage you're in, it is going to take away so much beauty of that process, right? And that is the best part about the journey, is the process, is about the navigating and the learning and the growth and the figuring out and all of it. But if the people that you're sharing it with takes away that beauty, it is going to make it so much harder, and it is going to take away so much love that you have for your purpose and for your life and for whatever you're doing. I, so that conversation just really made me realize to be more aware of just really who you're sharing your small wins with, because it can really take away the feeling of the excitement. But on the other side, it can damn near make you more excited for what's to come too. And even though, yes, it is hard and it is heavy to lose those friendships and lose those relationships, but in those hard moments, it is essential for us to realize that we cannot become who we are meant to be while we hold on to the relationships that are holding us back. I think it is hard to realize the person that you are becoming whenever you are with certain people in a relationship or with certain friends, because in the moment you can get so lost in the thrill and the adventure and the positive glaze that you are putting around that relationship that you don't always see what it's actually doing to your life and how it is changing the trajectory that your life is going in. It's so easy to feel good and great whenever you are in it, but I think that once you have time away from that relationship to really reflect, really take time to yourself to gain your own perspective, to gain your own outlook, to think about what that relationship is giving or doing to you, you are going to realize so much. You're going to see that maybe that relationship or that friendship was more toxic than you realize. You're going to see that being around that person puts you in a lifestyle that was not healthy, that was not for you, that the routine, that the habits that you were creating while being around that person or in that relationship was changing the trajectory of your life in the worst way possible. But again, it is so hard to see that until you're out of it and truly have time to reflect. So that's why I think it's so important that even while you are in a friendship, even while you are in a relationship, still maintaining that individuality, have time to reflect on how that person is making you feel, how that person is adding or taking away from your life. What routines, what habits have you changed? Have you added? Have you taken away? Are they for you? Are they against you? Are they helping you? Are they hurting you, right? These are the type of questions I think it is so important for us to ask ourselves, even while we are in these relationships and friendships, because it can save us so much time if we are going down the wrong path with those people. Vice versa, though, it can also make you more appreciative of the people that you have, right? And I think that that is one of the best things that we can do by giving back to those friendships and those relationships is to express how much that you truly like them, right? I think that especially within friendships, it's so easy to like joke and banter and have all of those kind of like fun and silly conversations. But I think rarely we truly sit down and show appreciation and be like, I am so thankful for all that you have done for me in my life. Um, just because, not that you don't feel that way, but just because we're talking about all of those small little thoughts that we can't share with anyone else. That's what I feel like we typically share with more of our friends than like the appreciative side, you know? Um, so I just think that in friendships and in relationships, the more that you can prioritize time to reflect to yourself without anyone else's input to tell you how you should feel about that person or your life, that is either going to cause more appreciation towards that relationship or make you realize that that friendship or that relationship is no longer aligning with your life. And either way, it is a win-win. So it is so important for us to do it, guys. I think it's so hard whenever you do start to realize that you are no longer aligning with, especially one of your friends, right? Like at one point, you were so close with that person. At one point, that person was someone that you would always go to, that you would confide in. And now there's someone who you no longer are. Like, that is an adjustment, you guys. That is a huge adjustment. So we have to be able to give ourselves grace, right? There's going to be hard days. There's going to be days of grief and days where you just miss them so bad. And those moments that happen throughout your day, I feel like that's honestly one of the hardest parts about losing friendships or losing relationships in general, is those small moments throughout your day where you want to go and text them that something happened or that you like think of them, and it can be like the smallest thing ever, and that's what's going to hit the hardest, right? But in those moments we just have to remind ourselves that they are no longer in your lives for a reason. And if you can have a relationship with that person at that point in your life, just think about how amazing the relationships that are coming your way are going to be, right? Because again, I am a firm believer of rejection as redirection, right? So if you end up losing a friend or losing somebody in general, just know that you are making way for a new friendship, a new relationship that is going to be greater than you could even imagine, that you can even see and picture. While we give ourselves grace, I think it's so important for us to accept every season that comes our way, as well as every version of yourself that you were. It's so important to accept the version of ourselves who would be friends with that person or would be in a relationship with that person, to accept the versions of ourselves who would act a certain way or behave a certain way, to accept that not every season in our life is going to look and feel the exact same or how we want to, but just learning to embrace it and appreciate it anyways. And I think once we slowly start to learn how to embrace every season, no matter what it feels like, no matter what it looks like, that is where you're going to realize that it is teaching you something, that it is creating the next step for you to be exactly where you want to. I want to challenge you guys not to look back at them with disgust and hatefulness, but more so with grace and love and acceptance, right? Know that with every season, with every person that has came into your life, they taught you something, right? You would not be the person that you are today without having that person in your life, right? So rather than hating them and hating the version of yourself, accept them, love them, right? I'm not saying that you have to be all buddy buddy with them and you have to be friends with them or go back in that relationship, but it truly is so much weight to look back with hate and disgust rather than with grace and acceptance. I promise you guys, right? I myself, I have even been filled with hate and disgust before and resentfulness. And truthfully, it took a bigger toll on me than them. And that's where I just want to try to challenge us not to consume ourselves with that type of energy that lies in hate, that lies in disgust, right? Instead, just realize that although it didn't look and feel how you wanted it to, it happened. You got through it, you gained something, you learned something, and now you are here, you are better, and you came out of it even stronger. And I think it all just comes down to, which I know I've said a million times and I'm going to keep saying it, but rejection is truly redirection. So if you feel rejected by somebody, a friend, in a relationship, if you feel yourself losing somebody, losing a friend, losing several friends, losing your relationship, whatever it may be, just know that you are making way for something so much greater, right? We cannot receive things unless we lose things. So just know that you are about to gain somebody who is in such a better alignment with your life now, but also where you want to be in the future too. And that's truly the beauty of growth, is because yes, it's hard and it's so heavy. You lose things, and that weight of loss is so heavy and so hard. But with that loss, you gain so much too. And the weight that you gain is going to be so much stronger and so much heavier and take you through so much more of your life. So I just want to challenge you guys to prioritize gaining and growing and just appreciating the season that you all are in. As we know, there is no season that is permanent. So rather than trying to control the season that you're in, try to flow with it. Try to find that fluidity, let things happen, accept things for what they are, accept the losses, accept the gains, and focus on carrying the weight of the gains rather than carrying the weight of the loss. Simply You would not be here without you guys. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you all to my team, my support system, my family. Without you guys, this would never be happening. So I'm so thankful for each and every one of you guys. Make sure to like and subscribe on YouTube and Spotify. And again, just thank y'all so much. Tune in next Sunday on Simply You. Be here, be real, be you with Carly Basham. Thank you guys. Bye.